to my channel. I'm a new streamer, so hopefully the content will kind of falls in favor with you, whatever you're looking for. So as usual, the first thing I'm gonna review for the first time is dragons. So I guess this is kind of like a drawing element for quite a number of players because it looks mythical, really cool. So for the game itself, you actually start off at pasture 27. So this is the building. Pasture 27 allows you to unlock Celtic Demon. Of course, you need approximately about 3,000 dragon stones, if I remember. You probably could check the requirements. So tentatively, Avani starts you off with a ranged dragon. So a lot of people will actually use this for range march, so as you can see here, because of the range march and range attack. Eventually, when you ascend or upgrade your pasture, you get Fafnir for free. So Fafnir is basically a mounted dragon. So that's the start. That's the basic mounted dragon that you have. So eventually, as you move along with the game, you get your Wonder one unlocked. Wonder goes in here. So you see this is Wonder. So you have Wonder level 1, which is your SVS wings. So that unlocks Norway Witch. So Norway Witch essentially is a debuff dragon in my opinion, but a lot of them, because you don't really have a specific dragon for ground, so this automatically becomes your ground dragon. So as you move along, you get your 2 rounds of Throne, you get to open up Thieves through Wonder 2. So this is the quintessential defense dragon that you need to have. So we're talking about any kind of keep. You're planning to build a T1 trap, you're planning to just strengthen up your keep in the conventional way. This is a dragon to go because the stats allows you, it has higher stats in general, so you can get better flats for your T1 traps, depending on what kind of T1 traps you're looking at. If you're going T1 ground, then of course flat ground HP. If you're looking at the usual conventional T1 mounted troop itself, then it would be flat T1 flat mounted troop itself. So as you move along, sorry, as you move along, if you get your Battle of Constantinople top 200 now, you get to open up your Wonder Tree that becomes that allows you to access Nidhogg. Nidhogg is basically a more powerful um, mounted troop dragon, I would say, but there has been a lot of versatile play with it. Some of them actually put it as a ranged dragon. Reason why, because you can see the stats here, you know. In general, this is also a very good main range if you're looking at. Some people actually use this as a main range dragon, then Celtic becomes the secondary. Some of them they use this as a main mounted for mounted general, the main march, then Fafnir becomes the secondary. Either way, vice versa. So, but then again, when you unlock the main range dragon, I would say the main one. Everyone wants this, for your range itself. This is only obtainable through top 200 in All Star, Major League. So this is Layden. This is the quintessential range dragon. If you're ever trying to get higher tier or progress a little bit further in the game itself, you can see that juicy stat itself. Yep, this really snipes, especially if you're in C5 or coming C6 itself. Getting this dragon will kind of stand out among the rest for your keep. But of course, if you're older continent itself, this actually becomes a more essential thing if you want to stay, or I mean, if you want to progress further in the game or you want to play in with the big league itself. So finally, you get Amaterasu. This basically is another all-star dragon. mainly meant for ground. So if you're interested to, get your hands on this kind of stuff, so there'll be another segment about how you'll be able to do better in PvP. So yeah, this is the ground dragon. So eventually, of course, they launch Coltrane, which is the siege dragon, and this apparently this is a more versatile dragon, but it seems from all the other popular players that you have watched or the higher tier players itself, this seems to be the next best calf general dragon itself. So once you have all these dragons, people will eventually try to, make as many march as possible, one for attack or to join rallies. The other one, you basically use it for, reigns itself. So eventually, Avani launched Jaza. Jaza basically, and currently now in the event itself, you can find it. You just need to spend a little bit more. If you're lucky, like one of my mate, you can get it below, 300 US dollars. But I got lucky. I mean, I spent less than $100 and I got Jaza. So this basically sits as a secondary calf dragon for my Electra tentatively. So you see, still level 6. I have not really spent time on it. I'm trying to get the others up to level 15 to unlock that decoration itself. So kind of like a popular demand kind of stuff for alternative. So usually people would, once you get your Laden itself, people generally downgrade or shift Celtic to either secondary range. But for me, you can look at the stats. I've actually placed it as a secondary ground general dragon. So I'm using this basically to rain keeps, or sometimes I want to do a double tap on ground. I'll use that. So that serves me pretty well. As you can see, talent-wise, it's interesting, but I've never really spent much time on it. This is for people who are not planning or tentatively doesn't have that plan to move on to participate in All-Star Major League itself, due to alliance size purposes or due to scheduling issues and everything. I mean, Ebony basically just predetermine whichever time slot that they find it favorable for them. So for me, lucky for me, I didn't spend much fragments on the talents, so I'm glad this happened because I got my Layden. Eventually, I spent most of it on Layden. So eventually, I've kind of pushed a little bit on Fafnir on the first talent because of the Siege Machine. So generally, after getting Nidhogg itself, I have kind of moved uh, Fafnir to be my Siege Dragon. So as you can see here, eventually, yeah, with the latest update itself, yeah, bad news for some of you guys who are not really huge spenders. First, second talent goes up to level 100. That's what I know. So one of my mate actually managed to push, I think, um, the Celtic itself, one of the first talent up to 100 actually. So kudos to him. But for me, I've actually spent a lot more on the third talent, which is an active skill. So third talent's maximum level stops at 60. So, good news for us because you don't really have to go up to 100. That's crazy. Look at the amount of gems you need to use. So for Thief itself, I'm at 60 for the second talent and the first talent at 48. That already sets me back about 100k gems each level, not to mention the badge itself. So there are a lot more other stuff for other dragons. Imagine the amount of fragments that you need. So yep. So I guess that kind of wraps up just a short quick review on dragons. So if you have any questions, do put it up on the comments. I'll be glad to come back to you with my answers or probably my opinion. So till then, rally on, guys.